Hey, everybody. Hello. How are you? Happy Friday. I feel like we're reporting from behind enemy lines, and every week we're like, okay, we're here. We made it. We made it through another week. I hope you guys are doing okay. I do want to say this is Susan Lynn. I'm a spirit navigator and I predict politics. You might have seen that I changed my YouTube channel to political predictions, which I'm not sure if that's going to stick or not because I kind of don't want any more of a target on me than possible. But so just bear with me because I'm redoing some things and my branding and different things like that, because as you guys notice, I do a lot of different things, right? I have another channel that is spiritual, all day all long, here to help you understand your human life. As a matter of fact, I've decided I'm the human rep. I'm the human union rep for the universe. Like, I'm representing you to the management, which is the universe. So that's what I do on my other channel. Plus, you might know that I have a community where I spend 6 hours a month with you, literally 6 hours a month, helping you understand again how to get through this human life. All of that, you can find it on my website, susanlinmedium.com, or you can scan that QR code. All that to say, it's complicated to try to explain people all the things that I do. So I'm trying to figure that out. And I changed my YouTube channel to political predictions. But again, since people are actually getting visited for what they're putting on threads, people are getting visited in their homes. I'm thinking maybe not, that's not the right name for my channel, right? So anyway, yes, happy Juneteenth, everybody. Happy Juneteenth. I telling you, the universe is conspiring with us. And let me give you some examples. First of all, shall we say the next one? Then we could say, look at Obama's library party. Look at all the people there. Look at that and contrast that to that pathetic thing that they happened in the White House on the lawn. I don't know if you've seen the lawn. It's all dead now. It looks like the aliens landed, but unfortunately they didn't take anybody. Maybe it was a test run. Um, and so there's things that are really happening. And another thing that happened is, y'all remember that somebody put something on the lawn near the White House that said 8647, and literally Secret Service took it like a death threat. Like, they investigated that more than they did Butler. Seriously. So they apparently, this is great, you guys. They apparently put something on the lawn to cover it up. But maybe Four Seasons, landscaping was involved. And now, whereas you couldn't see it before, you could see 86, you couldn't see 47, you can see it. It's like whatever they did made it come out more. You can see it from space. It's so I'm telling you, the universe is conspiring to help us despite the crazy situation that we're in. We're all fighting, all of us, even the universe. So yeah, I love that. I saw the picture and I thought that's it, right? Like, that's it. Um so yeah, and right, and they took his name off the Kennedy Center. And I don't know if you guys have seen the reflecting pool, how it's all full of scum. And there was a teacher there collecting samples to show her students what's growing in there. The bottom where they painted it is peeling up, so people are they're like taking it as souvenirs. Somebody did a picture with everybody having those little blue pieces of peeled up paint on their ears, for like when they all wore, Kotexes on their ears. I'm telling you, this stuff is falling apart. It's all unraveling. We also know that he signed, if you are a history buff, he signed the surrender. I mean, that's all you can call it, at Versailles. He signed it with Macron in the same place that Germany surrendered. It's like basically the same chair. I don't know. I don't know. It's insane. Yeah, the MOU. I'm calling it a surrender. Of course, he's going to not even, he probably thought he was selling Maine. He probably thought, yeah, the Canadians are buying Maine, so we're going to sell, or he thought he was buying Greenland. Who knows what they told him, right? Who knows? Yeah, he doesn't know anything, and the irony is lost on him, but it wasn't lost on a lot of us, right? So, yeah, so they painted it. They did. They painted it. Well, that's what it said in the article. But I mean, how do you paint grass? What do you call like Kimlon or what's that company that paints grass? Yeah, maybe somebody did some spray paint, but it is so much more visible now than it ever was. Truly, than it ever was. Like before, I was like, yeah, I guess I could kind of see it, but now I'm like, wow, there it is. So it's like everything he tries just comes back and smacks him in the face. Of course, it also smacks us in the face. And that's not nice. How are you guys doing? Yes, also, he looks like he had another mini stroke. I shared the picture on Threads. I mean, you cannot deny that his face is dragging on one side. You cannot deny it. It was not AI. It was a real photo. Um, yeah, you can't hide stupid. You're exactly right. Happy Juneteenth to everybody. Right. And President Biden is an active bicyclist, and Macron gave them all French flag bicycles. Well, of course, you also have the bicycle race there. I mean, it's just a lot, y'all. It's just a lot. But the reflection pool is the great green grifting pool. That's true, Tina Marie. That's it. It's so sad. And I want to say this too. I'll say it again a little bit later, I think, because as I say, the West Coasters don't join us immediately. Usually in about an hour, this place is triple the number that it is now. But I do want to say this because the guides dropped this morning. And I'm telling you because forewarned is forearmed. It's not bad, but it is going to help us, I think, understand some things. And they said, first of all, whenever he goes, however that is, we don't care anymore. It's going to be a little bit anticlimactic. Instead of us, some people will be partying and jumping in the streets, but I think that's going to last very short. And I think we're actually going to be crying. I think we're actually going to be grieving because, right now we have our adrenaline. We're bracing ourselves every day for what could happen because there's no telling what can happen. So every day we brace ourselves. So when he's gone, even if we have a JD for a minute, when he's gone, we are going to just fall apart. We're just going to be blubbering. Just all the bracing that we've done is not going to be needed. And we're going to be able to feel the grief that we have for what's happened to us and to our country. So, yeah. Oh, your first live. I'm glad that you could join us. Thank you, Rosa DeLeon. Yeah, Rosa DeLeon. Yeah, sparkling wine ready for the event. Well, I'm glad. I'm going to celebrate, but I think it's going to be, I think the enormity is going to hit us. The enormity of what we've been through and the enormity of what we have to fix, I think is going to hit us. So just so that you're aware, yeah, that's right, NZ Sale. That is absolutely right. Trauma is felt when it's safe to feel it. And we have to feel it. See, this is part of our process. We do need to cry. We do need to scream. We need to get it out so that we can then move into sort of the next phase of like being a little bit more productive. But there will be a time when we're just exhausted. It's like almost like we're going to feel like we need to sleep for days. We're going to feel like I have been sleeping, but I don't guess I've been resting. And that's that adrenaline, that being protective, right? It's PTSD. It absolutely is PTSD or one of those, complicated things. So just so that you guys can be aware, it's okay to grieve and we should grieve. And we can support each other. And then we'll when we get some energy, when we feel like we can pick ourselves up, because the enormity of what we have to fix is also going to be a little heavy. So just FYI, it's necessary, Terilyn, it is necessary to humiliate and to humble the felon, but we may be robbed of that, right? We don't get to choose. we may be robbed of that justice the same way we've been robbed of so many other opportunities for justice, right? So sometimes we just have to know justice may not be in this lifetime. It may happen to him in some other way. Honestly, I think it's happening to him every day because I think every day he's more and more terrified of dying. He's more and more terrified of being left alone. You know, he's the kind of guy that's always been able to get whatever he wants. Like, give me this, give me that, and abrasive and a bully. And I think one of his fears is left alone, to be just sit in his own caca in the corner where nobody cares about him. That would be really a fate, a real justice, a real karmic fate for him. So I think he will get it, but we may not know it, right? We may not see it, but I do think he will get it. Yeah, the whole thing was a gag thing, Diane, with Macron, the bike, the getting him to sign the MOU, whatever you want to call it, at Versailles. You know, he looked at all that gold and he thought, wow, you know, Macron handled him so well. If you watch some of those videos, one time he reached out for Macron's hand because he couldn't steady himself. And Macron also worked between him and his wife, Macron's wife, to keep Trump away from her. I'm not saying I'm a huge fan, but I'm saying that he did the thing. He did the thing. I'm happy that he did the thing. Yeah, he's gonna haunt us. Do I see anything good for Idaho politics? Yes, I do, but it comes through a division. So I think the guides are showing me a split. And I think there's a split within the ranching community I'm hearing. Also, the farmers over water. I feel like water is a big part of this. Water rights, land rights, and losing their freedom. They feel like they're losing their autonomy. So this is going to cause your red state to break into different red pieces. So your red Republican Party might break into several factions. And not, the thing about the Republicans, they've always been able to get on a message. They've always been able to be like just this totally locked in. And I don't think that's going to happen. So I think that the good thing for you is that, look, I think discussion is good. I think healthy, healthy discussion about what is happening is good. So I think this is going to be good for you. I think you're going to be surprised because I feel like there's a lot of Republicans that were going along with especially with this iteration of the Republican Party that didn't feel so socially connected to it, like they felt some kind of way about the fiscal, but not the social. They don't really care about. So I think you are going to see some good things come out of this. And what is that saying? Don't interrupt your enemy when they're making a mistake or something. But I feel like they're going to be fighting each other. And that's going to be a good time for everybody to just sit back and let them do that. Because they'll tear each other kind of apart, really. And they again, the guides are saying they don't have the power they used to have, and that's not cool for them. Ruby Elixir says, "Are we ever going to get rid of religion?" Well, the guides are saying attendance has been down, I think, year over year over year for churches. And the guides are also saying religion is about creating community. So it's, you can go there and get community, you can find friends, you can get help, right? But it's also on the flip side, it's about control. So I think we are going to get rid of religion, but there's always going to, it's like a, what do you call that? It's, there's a missing part of the energy. So a vacuum, so a power vacuum. So that's where Q comes in, right? People leave religion, they go into Q. People leave religion and they go into some cult. So as long as people need a cult to control them, to tell them what to do, there's always going to be something like religion to do that, unfortunately. So I don't think we're going to get rid of it per se. It might change names or change, the way it interacts with us. Oh boy. Christy Noam. And Christy Noam was in the news about something else too that was horrible. What was that? Okay, so New Moon says Christy Noam has been hired by Canadian BC mining company. What is that about and how do we stop it? Well, okay. So people from other countries, I mean, whether it's Canada or Ireland or Wales or Europe or South America, it doesn't matter. These energies of suppression and oppression and racism and class warfare, they're everywhere. They're not just here in the States, okay? So how you stop it is you really have to do a lot of educating, especially in Canada right now, because they keep trying to attack your healthcare system. They're trying to make things more privatized, um, and I know it's a lot of this energy seems to be centered in one part of your country, but and it's not typically in British Columbia, but um, I think the only way you can stop it is by educating. You have to educate people. You really do. You have to explain to people this is what's happening in the United States. Do you want this here? Um, it's a good time because we're a good example for the rest of the world, number one. And number two, these policies are hurting all the other countries. So it's a good time to educate people. Never underestimate the power of educating people. Um, Not maybe yelling or not, maybe getting excited, but just a steady drumbeat of, you see this happening? This is why it happened. You see that? Because the problem is we can't imagine, oh, is this going to happen? We're like, no, it's never going to happen. But if you can point and say, this is happening right now in the United States, and here's the same person here, do you want that? And just lead them to come up with their own ideas instead of telling them, you don't want this, you don't want this. Gently walk them through so that they can come to their own conclusion, because that's when they'll believe it. And we just have to be really, 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 really just work at this, because these people are working at it. They're convincing people, they're educating people to their ideas. Let's see what else. S. Greer says, do you see the Louisiana recall petition getting enough signatures to recall Governor Jeff Landry and AG Liz Murrow? I get no, but I could be wrong. I could be wrong. Is there a timeline? I feel like there's a deadline, and I think that's the problem. I don't think there's enough time to get it done. And I also, it's so sad, but as I just went into the energy of Louisiana, so much of that state is about oil and gas or agriculture. And they want to believe, they want to believe this. It's just like when you've been cheated on and somebody, your friend says they're cheating on you, and you're like, no, you're wrong. That's these Republicans. They don't want to believe it. They don't want to look like a fool. They don't want to lose face. So they're going to double down and say no. Or they're also saying, yeah, but they can get us out of this mess, right? They've been poisoned against Democrats for decades and decades and decades. So I hope I'm wrong. But right now, whenever this timeline is, like, I don't know when the deadline is, but right now I don't feel like it's going to make it. But I will say this, it's going to scare the hell out of Louisiana's Republican Party, because there is a lot of energy around it. It has a lot of energy, and if they had a little bit more runway, if they had a little bit more time, they could do it. I just think they're going to run out of time. But maybe I'm wrong. Will Florida vote no? Sage Burner says, will Florida vote no on the property tax and lose that income for the state? they can't. I mean, the guides just said they can't. They can't lose the income. They're already there's already a huge real estate deficit, and I mean deficit as in there's not enough money coming in from real estate. I think there's going to be quite a lot of houses that are underwater, a lot of houses that are going to go through foreclosure. So the money's not there. Will Florida vote no property tax? I don't see it. If they do it, if they do this, I would be even more worried because it means that they're getting that money from some other place that is even more insidious, the guides are saying, so even more hidden, even more secretive, and even more punishing. Now, I know I lived in Texas for 30 years with really high property taxes because we had no state income tax. So our property taxes and plus our sales tax, so we paid 10 cents, right, for every dollar or something, or 8.25%. So I get it. I mean, I get it, but I'm just saying that I don't think they can make the numbers work. And if they do, something else is coming that you don't know about, like data, like selling their soul to data centers or selling the water out of the springs. I mean, believe me, they'll replace that money with something and it won't be good and it'll be hidden. Um Question. Let's see what this says. Sharon Donnelly says the slush fund is not being dropped. He allegedly intends to pay off his homegrown militia before midterms, so they'll be ready to engage again and interfere with midterms. Yeah, I mean, absolutely. That's been always been the plan. The plan is that we do as much work as we can to embattle the cities, like they're attacking parts of California, they're Minneapolis, probably Memphis, Chicago. They're not going to give up. So the plan is to just get everybody, and also just this economy where we're just depressed. Then his plan is to, well, the guides just said, we've been talking about it for a long time, where adding those foreign soldiers in, whether they're from Israel or some other place, adding those foreign soldiers into our soldiers. Yeah, this has been their plan. This is their plan. But um they can't pull it off. So that's why instead they're attacking cities instead of the whole country. They cannot pull off the whole country. Now, can they? Because we know that these Democrat cities are huge and they're great, huge populations, typically vote blue. So, you attack those cities. So, yes, I do see him trying to do that. Um, but I think between now and November, a really big sea change is just going to happen, like a really big sea change. Like there's going to be I don't even know how to describe it, but there's going to be like a climax to everything before then. And then that there's still going to be fighting and just kind of discombobulation, but it's not going to be on the upswing. It's going to be them on the downhill. Not saying they won't rig it. I'm just saying that it's not going to be. August is going to be worse than November in a way. Um, Yeah, and somebody just said today, Ruthie, you're saying I love what Maloney said about 45 and her begging for a photo with him. And she's a freaking conservative. She's against same-sex marriage. She's a conservative and she's against him. So we go back to what the guides just said about Idaho, right? The Republican Party's just going to start splitting up. So here you have a super conservative woman who hates Trump, right? So you just can't, you're not going to be able to put them all in one bucket anymore. They're going to break apart into their own kind of interest, if you will. Let's see what else you guys are talking about. Happy Friday. Thank you guys so much for joining me today. It is Juneteenth. What does this say? The Tarot Pathway says, Susan, the youth 18 and up have brought onto Mitch much of the propaganda. How will this show in 5 years? Okay, I see what you're saying. So you're kind of also thinking about the Charlie K people, the young kids that are pretty racist, and I can't say too many words on YouTube, but they're not everybody. It is a subset. There is a group there. I'm not going to say it's small, but they're not the majority. Um, in 5 years, how that's going to show up, you know what they just showed me? These kids, I'm just going to call them kids. These kids are so ill prepared for life. They're ill prepared to be an adult. And what we're going to go through for the next 5 years is really about walking away from these corporations, understanding what value we have, being very aggressive in our rights as workers, but also being aggressive in the fact of our skills. We have skills, we prove we have skills, and we're going to put our skills on the marketplace. And the person that can afford us gets us. Okay, so it is a little bit more of a of a fighting energy of like, you know what, I'm not going to beg you for a job. You're going to have to give me this job if you want my skills. But see, that's different. The whole mindset of that is different than the world is wrong, I'm right, women are horrible, anybody that's not white is horrible, I'm the best. That kind of mentality is not going to survive at all in 5 years. Because in 5 years, we're going to have realized that we need all of us, that we need all colors, all shapes, all sizes, all races, all sexes, all persuasions. We're going to understand that like never before. And we are going to help each other. We're going to get stronger. We're going to stand as a community. And these kids are just going to be crybabies. They're crybabies. So they're not survivalist. We are survivalist, right? So that's kind of I don't think in 5 years I don't think they're that big of a problem. In 2 years, yes, I think they're a pain in our neck. But in five, I don't think so. And I don't know how they're ever going to catch up. They've been fed this narrative that they're special because they're white men or they're white women or whatever. So yeah, let's see what else you guys are talking about. Yes, strong little mama. Yes, the question is, are they trying to do away with the separation of church and state? 100%. They've been trying to do this even when George W. was in office. They started doing I think Reagan tried to do it as well. They've been trying to do this forever because religion is a control. Religion is like their local police force. If they can get these pastors and ministers and whoever to control the people, that's what religion does. So, yeah, they're trying to use religion as their local controller of norms of, look, women need to stay home and just all of that. Absolutely, they're trying to separate. I would suggest they've already separated church and state. They're pretending like it doesn't exist. Cat Mom says, "Will the Republicans touch Social Security?" I mean, they've touched it. They've got Doge in there. There's no telling what they've done to Social Security that we don't even know about. That there could be code or bugs that have been left inside of some of the structures of the systems. Okay, now it did help that, remember when Doge went in there, the system was arcane. It was really old, and you had to know the language of that particular coding. And those kids didn't know the language. So it was sort of like they showed up and they didn't speak the language, right? So I don't think they did as much damage as they could have, but they certainly did damage. Now, will they literally stop Social Security? I think what they're going to do is something, again, that they've tried to do since Reagan, which is privatize it. They understand they can't get rid of it. They know that. Now, they also don't care if they break us, right? They don't care at all if they literally drain us dry. It's like a hostile takeover of our country. You know, when you have corporations, that corporate raiders, that hostile take over and buy just enough stock to be a little bit of the majority, and then they make all the changes, drain all the profits, and then leave the company bankrupt. This is what they're doing to the United States. However, when it comes to Social Security, the robber barons cannot, this is a hill too far. They cannot do this. So what you're gonna hear them say, back in where this was in the 90s, that somebody was yammering to me about this all the time. This Republican, they want to privatize it. They want to put it on in the stock market. They want to put Social Security in the stock market. So I think this is what you're going to hear, which will gut it. I mean, look, I'm going to be honest with you guys. We don't have any money. I don't think we have any money. I started this out by saying, when he goes, we're all going to be crying, because we're not going to have the adrenaline of having to face every day and hold it together. So when he's no longer in office, or whatever happens to him, we're actually going to break down. Okay. So this is because we don't, we're just, we didn't realize, we haven't rested. We haven't had a moment's peace. So when we do this, they're going to give us solutions. Okay. So listen, just because he's gone, it doesn't mean the robber barons are over there funding Democrats. They're going to fund, look at Cory Booker, look at these people, look at Fetterman. They're going to fund people on the other side. You always bet both sides of the house. Okay. So I think you're going to hear this about privatizing. I don't think it's going to happen, but this is going to be one of the solutions that they're going to give us. They're going to keep telling us, for the good of the country. You're going to hear this all the time. It might not be this month, but you're going to hear it all the time. For the good of the country, for the good of the country. Well, that's a bunch of bunk. For the good of the country is, we need to get rid of the Republicans and ban the name forever, like we did the Nazis. So yeah, they want to. It's a thinner and thinner wall to keep them from doing something horrendous. I don't see them getting rid of it, but I see them, and our money is gone. Like I said, our money is gone. I think we're going to be like, oh my God, we don't have any money. And then you'll hear them say, look, we have to have austerity. That you're going to hear this in Europe too. You're going to hear this across the planet. You have to have austerity for different reasons. Over there, you're going to be building up your defense, because guess what? Your defense ally is now your enemy, probably. So for us, it's going to be, we have to have austerity. So we have to cut. We can't give you these entitlements. I hope it makes you mad. I hope people educate the younger people and understand what it means, right? Like, I paid this money. This is not an entitlement. This is my money, right? But we have to educate people. If we don't educate them, they're going to vote against it, because they don't know any better, because they're being educated by the enemy. Yeah, I think the US is insolvent. I really do. It doesn't have to stay that way, but I do think it is insolvent, as Mark says. We're broke. I think they have literally swindled the money. The guides kept saying for months, it's Enron, right? It's a scheme, and they've taken our money. So when this is all over, we're going to figure out that not only do we not have the money, but all of these systems that might have been arcane, might have been archaic, but they were working, right? Now they're not working, because the whole departments have been gutted. There's no intellectual property there anymore. There's no people that know how it's done. They're all gone. So it costs even more money to rebuild everything. And one of the things I saw, I guess 45 is announcing that he's got whatever it is, the airplane, Air Force One, the new Air Force One. And I remember thinking today, the next president is going to be taking Greyhound. The next president is going to be like we're going to be like showing up like, here, I'll drive you a couple of hours and then somebody else is going to pick you up. I mean, there's not going to be any, I mean, really and truly, I'm not kidding you when I say this. There is going to be austerity within the government, and we're going to have to fight hard to make sure that they understand that we want our money back. And I know people will get in the streets for that, but we have to help the young people understand it. Oh yeah, they pay themselves, Betty K. They're that's where the money went. It's grifted. It's money laundering. It's money laundering. Like, so the guy that painted the reflecting pool, and I don't know what all he did. Have y'all seen his picture? Because I didn't even believe it was a real person. I was like, this is AI. I'm not even gonna pay attention to it. It's that crazy. That guy has already gotten in trouble for working with Trump. And it was secret who he hired to do that. So it's all grift. It's all about money laundering. Anything he does is about money laundering. Yeah, it's crazy. But we get to see it. This is important for us to see, because once we see it, we can fix it. If you don't know it's happening, if you don't know there's a problem, you can't fix it. So this, as bad as it is, as horrible as it is, we're seeing it, and we're really getting a chance to fix it. Mary Huddleston says, "Are Ukraine's attacks on Moscow going to bring an end to the war?" Well, they're certainly uh, going to be impacting Russia. These attacks, I think it was today or yesterday, 600 drones, I don't remember, but it was significant. They attacked Moscow. Now, this whole thing could have been over years ago, but and this is during Biden, but this was Congress. Remember Mitch McConnell? These people wanted the war because they made money off of the defense. If you remember, the first thing we did was we gave Ukraine a bunch of stuff from World War II. No joke. We got rid of it. Then we started selling them better weapons and better weapons. But here's the thing. We said, we're only going to sell you these weapons that are defensive. You can protect yourself. We're not going to sell you something that's going to allow you to launch a rocket into Russia. We're not going to allow you to do that. So for the whole time, 4 years of Biden's presidency, they were just trying to defend themselves. Well, guess what? Because Trump pulled out of all the deals, well, Zelensky said, fine, then we get to do whatever we want. If we're not getting your money, we're not beholden to your terms. We'll do whatever we want. That's when Zelensky started the whole drone program. So now he's basically doing whatever he needs to do to save his country. And that means bombing Moscow, which they've never really done. If not, they've done it maybe once or twice, but now the guides are saying the word strife. They're like strifing the area. So I don't think this is going to end it, but I think it changes it. It changes the, it certainly also makes it more dangerous for Ukraine, right? Because Russia is getting backed by North Korea, by Iran, by who knows, all these countries. So it makes it more dangerous for Ukraine. Ukraine has got not a lot. They're basically doing this, out of their lunch money. I mean, it's like not a lot. So I don't think it's going to end it, but I do think it changes the power quotient, the guides are saying. It makes Ukraine a much more dangerous opponent than ever before. And then you start to really hear about real peace talks, about where Russia might actually follow through on some kind of initial peace talk. I mean, you can't trust them, but but they're going to be more willing to talk pretty soon. But I hope it's ended tomorrow. I hope it's ended, today. I just don't think, as long as Putin is alive, and I think he's alive because the oligarchs are not making any money. Remember the oligarchs back not that long ago. They had the yachts. They were partying. in the most beautiful beaches of the world. They had all the money. They had celebrity. Now most of them are dead and the rest of them are hiding. So if Putin wasn't in, Russia has so much resources. It's a business person's dream. So if the oligarchs could get a hold of that, they would be back. They would be back to being celebrated. They would be billionaires, right? That's why I don't think Putin, if he is dead, then his right-hand man is running this, but the energy suggests that the oligarchs would do something very different. And I've predicted that, right? I've predicted that Russia actually goes quiet, goes dark, almost to a lockdown situation, and then it goes eventually back into more Western style government. Not necessarily capitalism, but certainly more Western style. Ooh, that's such a good question. Tamara Camp says, when will we have a new Speaker of the House? The guides just said soon. Speaker of the House. Look, I'm telling you, you can't underestimate the energy of Obama's library opening. For some reason, it balanced something energetically. It did. Um, so, and all those people that were there, right? All those amazing people. So, we could have something that could, again, I told you guys by the midterms, things are vastly different. Not great, not 100% great, but we're on the mend. We're beginning to pick up the pieces. There's still some hooligans running around the edges, but we feel like we can start to pick up the pieces. So when, I don't know, the guy, this is, you guys, I'm psychic. I'm actually really accurate. But here's the thing. If I had all the answers, if I knew everything, I would be all powerful. I mean, think about it. I would know everything. I would know how to make all the money in the world. I would know, so this planet doesn't allow that. Like, there's limits on what you can know, number one, because you have to work within the system. Maybe I know more than more people, but maybe other people know how to do brain surgery. So, it kind of equals out. The other thing is that free will. And the other thing is timing is the universe. They have their own time. We have our own time. They don't use time. We do. They don't have a sun or water or tides, that dictate the time. They don't have that stuff. So I don't really know if I can tell you a time, but I can say that it's soon, and sooner than we think. So that's good. Ooh, what? Kelsey says, what is going on with Steve Bannon? He has been quiet. Well, because he's quiet, but he's orchestrating things in the background. He's very busy orchestrating something. It has a flavor of C. Kirk, of Charlie. I don't think it's TPUSA, but he's trying to create that. He's trying to create his own army, like Enrique Talarico, whatever his name is, and Charlie. He wants his own militia, his own whatever you want to call it. So that's what he's working on, and he doesn't want people. He doesn't want publicity because his plan is not. It's not approved. It's not approved by 45. It's not approved by the Republicans. He's always been kind of rogue, right? He's always been kind of doing his own thing. He has his own like focus, his own ideas, and he's working on them. And he does not want to be part of the Republican Party. He does not want to be part of 45's entourage. And those people are bullies. So if they hear you're doing something and getting powerful, they'll take you out. So yeah, that's why he's been quiet. But I don't see him. You know what they just showed me? Who is that guy? The guy who was the general who is, of course, he's a white dude. But anyway, he's got people he's working on that have their own really effed up version of society that they want. But I don't see him going. He doesn't have the money. He doesn't have, oh, wait, the guide said, yes, he does. Also, wasn't he involved with E-Files with the E dude? He does have money. Michael Flynn, that's it. That's the guy. He does have money. Huh. Yeah, Flynn. He has money. He has money. He just isn't getting traction. He's not getting, but the guides are saying don't underestimate him. So it's Flynn. It's Flynn. I mean, Stone is in that group, but not really. Stone is not really. It's Flynn and Bannon are together with somebody from the E-Files in some way, and they're starting their own, group. I can't say too many words here. I'm already skating on thin ice. So yeah, well, I've talked about this a lot, Freda. I've talked about this a lot. Look, if you're a Republican, God forbid any of us ever say those words, but it helps to understand your enemy. If you're a Republican and you're losing power, you want to put somebody in there that's gonna you don't you don't want somebody who's going to give you bunk. You don't want somebody who's not, you want somebody you can control. Even if it's not, even if it's through coercion that they're not, like, I don't think Jeffries is exactly a sellout like I think Booker is. I think that, but I think he's easily manipulated. He's just easily manipulated. And so, yeah, they would love to have him in there because then they can say, what is wrong with you guys? We supported a black man for speaker. We supported this black man for president. I've told you guys they would put him in president if they could. They would. They would love him as president. It would mess up our country even more. That's the goal. You have to think like they do. So yeah, I don't, it's not good, but here we are. And we have to kind of go through these. The next thing is an iteration. We're not going to hit this hole in one out of the park in one try. It's an iteration. So the first leader is going to be somebody who's not going to be great, but somebody who's going to try. And then we'll get it. We'll just keep moving in the right direction. The key is to keep moving, to not make excuses. Like, so if we get somebody in there and they're not doing what we want, then we need to hold them accountable. Really hold them accountable. Look, I'm telling you, humans are going to be a force to be reckoned with. The guides told me yesterday, and it's a little chilling, but they're calling it the Great Unrest. The Great Unrest. This is worldwide. This isn't the United States. The Great Unrest. Because people are going to start saying, I'm a human. I'm worthy of health care. I'm worthy of respect. I'm worthy of reparations. I'm worthy of fair and equal justice. We're all about to be real cranky, all of us. And then you're going to see a real pushback from us. So yeah. What's positive about the fire horse energy? I am Hurst says, what's positive about the fire horse energy? Well, I mean, I'm not an astrologer or a numerologist or anything, but energetically, the guides are saying this is the energy we need. We need, we're going to be exhausted. We are going to be as if we've been caretaking 100-year-old person for, that is got dementia, and we have to lock the doors and we can't sleep and we have to sleep with our eyes open. We are exhausted. So this fire horse energy is going to give us that energy to fight back. It's going to give us the energy to force justice. Fire it cleans. Fire can clean things, right? You have that thing where they do your skin with literally burning it. So we can use this to clean. We can use this to sear and remove anything. um, and there's so many trees that only sprout after they've been burned, right? There's whole habitats that exist because of fire. So we just have to look at it. We do have to do this. So thank you for your question. We have to look and say, what do we have here that's working for us? Now, at the same time, the fire horse energy is, we're going to have droughts, we're going to have fires. Those things, nothing is, every knife you can use for good or bad. So everything is how you use it, right? Hopefully that was a good explanation. Thank you for your question. Yeah, and stop drinking the Kool-Aid. I guess this question was about Michelle Obama running for president. And you said, besides the rule applies to her as Kamala, the country is still too racist to put a Black woman in there right now. I agree with you. And I also think that whoever gets in right now it's a thankless job. It's a thankless job that no one is going. It's sort of like Biden, right? Like when he took over, it was thankless. People just gave him crap. And I think the next president is going to be a thankless job. And personally, I don't think a Black woman should do that and be in that position, right? So I think that's why I think the Republicans might try to put somebody in that they can control, whoever that is. Because, and this is 28, we're talking about probably. Although I will say, there is a potential. I've said this, I've got whole videos about this, that we could have a snap election, which means that, look, what constitution? What constitution? What laws? What DOJ? What Supreme Court? So I think we're a lot closer to doing some pretty wild things like, okay, we have to have an interim government, or we're going to make a parliament, or we're going to suspend some kind of constitutional control. I mean, it's scary, but we might need to do that, right? And this might be how we get there eventually. I actually think some sort of I really think if we had 2 or 3 parties in a parliament situation, it would actually really help us heal. I think it would help us move forward because we're so divided. They got it, we got it, we got it, they got it. We've got to stop this black and white division. We've got to move more into these two groups are coming together. These two groups are coming together. My interest matches your interest. We'll get together on this. It's just going to make it less divisive, I think. AOC would be a great speaker, but that's probably why they'll block her. That's probably why they will block her. And that's why if you look at her 3 years ago and look at her now, that's why she's trying to be a little bit more circumspect. So, because the Democratic Party keeps blocking her. Look what they did. Look what they did. She was going for that higher position. They gave it to that guy that was 80 whatever, and that guy ended up dying of cancer. They gave it to somebody who had cancer, who was actively battling it, instead of a young AOC. That's how much she scares them. These people like Jeffries don't scare them because they're malleable, they're controllable. AOC is not. Okay. But we'll see. Good question here. Tracy Bird says, is Vance the big leaker? So that's another thing that's happening. All these leaks are coming out of the White House. Is Vance the big leaker? You know what I just saw? Susie Wiles. I just saw Susie Wiles. I've already told you guys this. Don't mess with that woman. That woman is, I think she's batshit crazy. But anyway, besides that, she's mean. I'm not saying JD doesn't approve of it, but I think it's Wiles who's doing it. That's what I get. Maybe you guys get something different. Tracy B says, do you see Kamala ever becoming POTUS? I do. I do see it, but there is the racism problem, which we apparently are deep into still. There's also the woman problem, right? We were able to get a black man in there, but we can't get a woman who happens to be black in there. So there's also misogyny and racism together. Um, and I think that whatever we do between now and 28, whatever situation we use to calm things down for this period of time, not fix things per se, but let's just, the guides always say, put the patient in a medical coma, right? I see us just let's just tread water while we sort of take stock. But in 28, I think she will run in 28. And I'm happy for this. I'm happy that she's outside of the Democratic Party. I mean, the first thing she said after having been railroaded and taken, rigged, and stolen from is that I got to go outside of the system. I can't operate from within the system. So this means I feel like right now she's fundraising for people in the system, but I feel like she might go out to be an independent in 28. And I think she will run. The problem that I see with her in 28 is that, and I'm not saying this is fair, but people are going to blame her. People still blame her for this whole thing happening. It was not her fault at all. If anybody can have a memory and think about all those stadiums that she filled with all those people, a la Barack Obama, but I think that come 28, that's going to be a little problem for her. But I also feel like there could be, and she's young, but I feel like there's going to be the youngest ever group running for president in our history. So you're going to have a lot of like barely over the age people running. There's going to be a backlash against older people, I feel like, because of the Nancy Pelosi, because of the people who've been in there, and they're in their 80s and 90s, and Grassley and all these people. So I think there's going to be a real backlash against the system and against all the things that have we're just looking. I'm telling you guys, it's a backlash is coming. It is coming. It is coming. There were so many people on that dialogue. I don't know if you guys saw the people on there. Booker. I mean, I made a list, but Atul Gawande, the author, so many people that I thought, what the heck is happening? Why are these people on this dialogue list? And we're going Neil Cattell, the guy who's always on MSNBC, the brilliant constitutional attorney, the guy that goes to the Supreme Court against 45. Meanwhile, he's a part of this private group meeting on the down low. Look, I'll tell you right now, these Democrats thought, I can get in there and I can change their minds. I'm brilliant. I'll talk to them. I'll spar with them. I'll go behind enemy lines. No, all you did was get yourself covered in their crap. And now you look complicit. You look like you're one of them. So I'm telling you, I've told you this a long time ago, right? We're going to throw out the baby with the bathwater. There's going to be good people we throw out because we don't have the discernment. We don't have the energy anymore. I've described this months ago where I can't, all your stuff got flooded in the flood. It's brown. It's full of mud. Do I wash it? Do I keep it? Do I throw it out? After a while, you have decision fatigue. You can't make another decision. So you just start throwing things out. I've been there, thrown out all kinds of stuff I shouldn't have thrown out, but I couldn't face cleaning it. I couldn't face dealing with it. This is where we are. There's going to be a backlash against people. And not saying it's against Kamala per se, but I think in her situation, it's just that she's part of the system, even though she says she isn't. I'm not saying any of this is right. I'm just saying this is how we're going to feel. We're so exhausted. We're not going to give people a second chance. We're just not. Look at Target, y'all. Who was it? P. Diddy? Who was it that just came out and dropped his album only at Target. No, it wasn't P. Diddy. It was what's his Beyonce's husband, right? He dropped his album at Target. Do you see what they're trying to do? They're like, you have to go back to Target. You have to. Black people, we're sorry. Come back. No. Instead, they're dropping him. Jay-Z. They're like, no, we'll drop Jay-Z. I'm telling you guys, we are brutal right now. We're brutal. Yeah. So a lot going on. Yeah, Obama did a great speech, and so did Michelle. Michelle did a great speech too. Uh, they see what's going on. But the fact that they had that shindig, they had that party with all those people. Even GW showed up. GW? Did I see GW? And I know y'all saw those pictures of Hillary snickering. Apparently, she laughed so loud, the microphone on the stage picked it up. So there is energy around that, energy of defiance, energy of, you haven't scared us. We're not hiding. Instead, we're celebrating a presidential library from our first Black president. So, to you, right? So that really is energy there that I think is new energy that's giving us that fire horse energy moving forward. I'm telling you, I don't know what's going to happen to Target, but I don't think they're going to come back from this. This is serious. This is way serious. I mean, I've been boycotting Chick-fil-A, and I love Chick-fil-A, but I've been boycotting Chick-fil-A for over a decade because of their stance on gay people. And that's nothing compared to what people are doing to Target. They are eviscerating Target. I do think Bill Clinton, I mean, he's frail, he's old. I think the guy's just, he's frail. He's very frail. Um, he's really a medical miracle, the guides are saying, I mean, given his ailments, he's got the best health care in the world. And that's why he's still here. But I think he is running out of time. I really do. I feel like he could be one of the first ones to go, which would be really sad if he left before 45. But wow, so all these people are boycotting Target. I know it's, Hobby Lobby is another one. Hobby Lobby is another one, you guys. They are so against. Look, I'm going to just break it down to you and say, if a company is against trans, if a company is against gay people, they're against Black people. They're against Asian people. They're against Hispanic people. You've got to know this. Okay. So if they're coming for one of us, they're coming for all of us. And we're just in this place now where we don't care. We are going to be savage. We're going to vote with our money. We really are. Yeah, the good app, the goods app, the Goods Unite app is a really good app. So there are apps out there that you can find to vote with your money, to go to places that don't give money to the wrong people. And sometimes, unfortunately, these companies stop giving money, and then 6 months later they start again. So they just do it long enough to clear their name, and then they're back to their old habits again. Yeah, the Publix Hirus funded a 6 boycott of Public. Yes. The Publix Hirus funded Jan 6 boycott Publix. We should just share in the chat, Look, sometimes we have to go to Walmart. Sometimes we have to go to these stores. If you have to go, you have to go. But if you have a choice, use your choice, right? Those of us that have a choice need to choose very wisely. Sometimes you don't have a choice. I love that you're going to the farmer's market more, Mark, me too, because This is where we're going. We're going to more community for reasons that are not great, right? Because we might not be able to get trucks in. There might not be gas. There not be trucks because it might not be worth it for them to ship new produce in. They might just try to convince us to buy canned produce or to buy frozen produce. But we are resilient. The reason they can't take this country over is because we're too resilient and we're too independent. So you're going to see neighbors growing gardens, having yard eggs. You're going to see people just helping each other, you know. And if you can't afford to go to the farmers market, you might get a group together on your block, and somebody goes, and you guys all pay them to go for you, to be your personal shopper. And maybe you pay them 5% more for their effort. But that way you're getting, what you need to get. Same thing with Costco. If you can't afford to go to Costco because it's too far away, you can always crowdsource that. You can always say, you got a station wagon, you got a van. Why don't you go and you'll have the card? We'll all pitch in towards the card. We'll all pitch in towards getting, and they buy a 24 pack of something and you break it out into 4 families. This is what I'm saying. We're too smart. We're too resilient. We're going to figure out how to not use these corporations. And we're not going to go back. This is what the guide's been saying for a year. We're not going to go back to them. We're going to break them. But when we break them, we break us because we work for them. So it's kind of a thing. Oh, I didn't even know Costco delivered. I didn't even know that. Aldi is great. Trader Joe's, yep. You live near Amish. Those of you that live near Amish or any kind of farms is so lucky. But there are literally food deserts. And some of these places don't even have a Walmart. They have $5 trees or $5 generals. They don't even have a Walmart to shop at. They have to go pay at the Dollar General. So some people are just really in these food deserts. Right. Petite chef. We're resourceful people, the Depression generation, the WW2 generation. But also remember what we got after the Depression. We got Social Security. We got OSHA was formed in the 70s. Remember Silent Spring and how we turned around the EPA. We didn't get the things we have today without having suffered greatly. These are in response to our suffering. So this suffering, may it pay off, make it pay off, you guys. Make them raise the minimum wage and to raise Social Security and disability and provide reparations, all the things. Question here from Ray Camden. The guides predicted they were going to take away abortion. And they did predict that we would get it back. So I do see it coming back. The guides are using the word autonomy. So we're going to get our autonomy back. There's also, I don't know what that means, why they're saying that. Why are they saying that? There's going to be more trans rights too. I can only say that because I'm seeing abortion and childbirth and men. So I think also it could be that people transitioning, right, that are still having babies. There's going to be protection for them. And not only protection, there's going to be help. There's going to be more health care, more assistance. There's going to be more health care and assistance targeted towards Black women. If you guys don't know this, Black women have one of the highest fetal problems and deaths. Like we're talking third world country levels. Okay, pay attention. Black women, it's horrible what is happening to Black women, Black mothers. So I think specifically we're going to have laws aimed at, so we lost, all the things. We're going to get more back. We're going to get more back. We might have to fight for it. We might have to educate people. But the difference is the energy feels invincible. It feels invincible. Like we don't care if we have to suffer. We don't care if we have to make these corporations pay because then we're going to lose our job. We don't even care anymore. We're in this place where we don't care. We're going to make you pay and we're going to pay too. The guides have been saying this for months and months and months. Remember when they talked about strikes? And I talked about how my dad would go on strike and we would didn't have food. But my dad was in the union and you strike. You went on strike, you didn't get paid. But they did that because they made the sacrifice. And then 10 years later, 5 years later, 1 year later, other workers benefited from that. We're ready to make sacrifices so that other people can enjoy it. The guides just said, isn't there an old parable or saying about why would you plant a tree if you're not ever going to sit under it? And I think this is an old saying. And the person's like, my grandkids will sit under it, right? So we're going to plant the trees knowing we may never get to sit under them. Or maybe, well, we won't because they just won't be big enough, right? So it's this is I'm telling you, the energy is savage. All I can tell you is we do not care if you're a billionaire and you're not a good one. You're not one that loves us and gives money back. You know, you're dead to us. We're not going to worship you anymore. That was the old days. We're not worshiping people with money anymore. We're appreciating people that have money to give back. We're not worshiping anybody anymore. This is the difference. One of the big differences that I see happening. We do need to pack the Supreme Court, expand it. I mean, I think pack is a word that might turn a lot of people off, but expanding or even make it's understaffed. You know what I mean? We can all understand that, right? We can all understand when something is understaffed. It literally is understaffed. So we do need to do that. Yeah, he is 45 is losing his hair. Um, and he's not using his right arm. Mm, I don't it's the guides are saying it's what is it? Immunotherapy, not chemotherapy, but immunotherapy, stem cell therapy. Is that the same thing? Is stem cell the same thing as immuno? They're saying he's getting stem cell and immunotherapy. I don't know. Um, he's dying. He's literally a walking dead person, right? He's dying as he's walking, literally. Most people would be like in bed, right? Like convalescing, would be on hospice. They're just going to make him, they pump him up with Ritalin or whatever it is, and then they let him off. They let him go do something for a while. Ivermectin, they are. They probably are giving him ivermectin and crack or something. Oh my God. Yeah, it's probably true. What does this say? Strong Little Mama says, where you see wrong or inequality or injustice, speak out because this is your country, this is your democracy. Make it, protect it, pass it on. Thurgood Marshall. You guys think about what this country went through during the civil rights movement. Think about Kennedy being shot. Think about, you know, Evers and MLK and all the people being harassed and killed. Um, we went through that, right? We went through that. We're going through something similar now, and we're going to get through it. We really are. Oh, that's cool. DK Walk says you had a youngish red oak when you bought it 28 years ago, and today it's huge. This is what they're saying. John Lewis, right? And Harvey Milk with the, the the Stonewall. I mean, 100%, 100%. Well, he does have clones in the sense, I don't know what you mean by clones. You're asking about 45. He has doubles, body doubles that Putin uses body doubles. Everybody uses body doubles. This is normal. So I think he does have body doubles. And sometimes they're going to use AI videos to make us think that it's him when it's not. Yeah, happy Friday, everybody. Happy Friday. We're going to get through it. We're getting through it. We're actually getting through it. Let's see. Immunotherapy is different than stem cell therapy. Immunotherapy can cause extensive diarrhea. Oh, God. Oh, my God. I'm sorry you went through that. Um, no, I think it's immunotherapy. I think that's, and I don't know why, what you treat with immunotherapy, but I think it's immunotherapy is what they're telling me. I mean, again, I could be, I could be wrong. Yeah, I'm out here saying all the words. I mean, I'm just begging YouTube to do something crazy. Good question. Suki, is Trump and Elon on good terms? They hate each other. The guys just said they hate each other, but they don't need to be best friends, right? To be partners in evil. Um, they literally hate each other. Let's see. Musk, and he's probably right. Musk is thinking, I'm going to outlive this guy. I'm going to outlive this guy, and I'm going to be the ruler of everything. Because Musk thinks that because he's got the AI, the robots, SpaceX, whatever, he feels like he's going to get this like lock. He's going to get a lock on all the things. It's like if you owned air. That's what he's thinking is going to happen. And I don't see that happening. I've never seen that happening. As a matter of fact, his $1 trillion on paper has gone down because of his IPO. I think it didn't do very well. Um, but yeah, they're not on good terms at all. But I don't know that Trump is on good terms with too many people, really. Let's see what else you guys are talking about. Yeah, he is. He's the Walking Dead. Yeah, he was. Elon was. I don't know if he was the only one, Jake the Plumber, behind the BOMB threats on E-Day, but he was part of it for sure. Part of it, definitely. Let's see. This is an interesting question. Lisa says next Tuesday is the Dem primary in New York City. 4 front runners, very competitive, includes Jack Schlossberg, George Conway. George Conway. Let me breathe. Let me just keep breathing. Michael Lasher and Alex Bores. George, I know George Conway came out and said all the things. I know he's been like rah 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 democracy, but he reminds me so much of the woman who makes me want to melt down, Liz Cheney. You just can't trust. See, this is what I'm saying. You're going to put people like George Conway, and then George Conway, who's a Republican, is going to say, look, everybody, I know you're really upset. I know you really want this thing called Social Security, and we're going to try to do our best, but you have to understand, we all have to make it. Somebody's going to punch him. I mean, literally, I think we're going to get violent. So, anyway, I feel like Jack Schlossberg is probably going to win this because you know how they feel about the Kennedys. The East Coast still has they still have a love affair with the Kennedys. Isn't he a Kennedy? So Micah Lasher has a lot of energy, like a lot of come from behind energy. But I feel like it's Schlossberg. I'd be surprised if it wasn't him. It, again, I'm not going to get everything right because if I did, I wouldn't be here because I would have my own world because I would know everything. But energetically, he would have to screw this up. Could he? Yes. Could they find something on him? Yes. But it feels like him. We'll see. I hope it's not Conway. I don't think it's Conway. Overall, New Yorkers are smarter than the average bear. I see. So talking back about 45 and whether he's on immunotherapy, you're saying, thank you for answering, Cat Mom. It enhances the body's own immune system to fight cancer. So it makes you wonder if something's going on there. Immunotherapy. I could say that. That's a good question. I don't think any of us have gotten cancer before. We've all gotten dementia. We've gotten frontal lobe dementia. We've gotten all the things, stroke. Clearly, he's had a recent stroke because you can see I can't even make my face do it. Thank God. But I'm going to look at this cancer thing and say bowel, gut or bowel cancer. It's not good. I have not looked at cancer ever. I just got here because you asked me what his injections were. I got immunotherapy and gene whatever. Um, bowel, bowel. They're saying bowel like like I don't understand what they're saying, so they're pronouncing it bowel, like they're saying it to me, bowel. Like she doesn't understand us. I'm like, I'm saying it back. I'm saying what you're saying. Stomach, yeah, bowel and stomach. Um, Dog mom says, "Will Jared Kushner be in our government?" No, I mean, I don't. Let me look again. There is a shakeup. Okay, I have to word this better. He is in our government. He's not elected, he's not appointed, but he is in our government. So if you ask it like that, yes. Will he ever have an appointee position? The answer is probably, they're saying. But this is during the shakeup when there's a power vacuum, when either 45 is gone or he's weekend at Bernie's. He's really gone, but he's not gone. And Jared comes in to protect their interest, is what I just heard. Um, if he could get appointed, he could protect their interest. So think about it. That means daddy's on the sidelines. He's either out, completely out, but we don't know it yet, or he's over there to himself, right? Which is the same thing. Jared would want to come in to make sure that whatever interest got done during that time stay in his court. Okay. So that would be why he would do that. But I would also say to you, that's not 100%. But I would also say to you that I feel Jared will be on the run, like Peter Thiel. I think he's going to have to flee pretty quickly. Oh, immunotherapy is what they gave King Charles. Interesting. The problem with 45 is he has so many comorbidities. He's got so many other problems. King Charles didn't have a lot of health issues, right? He wasn't having ischemic strokes. Didn't have all these other health problems that 45 does. I don't see 45 bouncing back from this at all. I mean, you can see how they've kept Clinton alive. Like you can see that he's frail and frail and frail, but they just keep him alive. This is what our healthcare could do if they wanted to keep us all alive. Oh, Denise Knight said he's had cancer. That's great. I did not know that. Okay, good. All right. I had not heard anybody else say that. I'm glad to hear that. You guys follow Denise Knight. Colorectal. Yeah. Where does that spread? It's in his gut. They're saying gut, not stomach. So I think it is bowel. They crack me up. They're like bowel. I'm saying it back to you. What are you talking about? Anyway. Yeah, he's still exactly DK walk. Conway, don't be fooled by these people. They're not, this is what you're going to hear. We need an independent, we need a conservative. People won't vote for a black woman. People won't vote for this. People won't vote for that. So you need to bring in a Republican light. I'm a reasonable Republican. That's a bunch of hogwash. I'm honestly, it really is. I think Kamala Harris won. They stole it from her. Um, I think Buttigieg could win. I think we're a much more liberal nation. They're hiding that from us with this malarkey about how we're not liberal. You know what? We're a lot more freaking liberal. It's just that these MAGAs have bullhorns and the media is basically projecting all of the crap that, is the racist stuff. He is a walking zombie. He's 100% a walking zombie. Raymond. Don Jr. says he doesn't do cocaine anymore. He just likes the way it smells. That's hilarious. Okay, well, good. I'm glad. I don't watch other readers because I don't want to start, saying what they're saying. So I'm glad other people have gotten cancer. That's great. So here's a good one. Freda back says, I looks like Ohio's going to turn blue. Do you see the money from the Repugs APAC stealing it away? I don't think so. I don't I don't think so. What they're going to try to do, it's just like the dialogue situation. Some of those people I think went there thinking that they could do some good. Now some of them didn't. Some of them were like, I want to be a part of this secret club. Um, So some of these what's going to happen now is APAC and whoever they are going to try to get these people to take their money and then smear them. Again, I already said we're not in a mood to forgive people. I don't care if it's Santa Claus and the Easter Bunny. If we think you done messed up, we're going to cancel you. We're going to cancel you. So I think Ohio's going to be good, but they're going to try to sandbag them or swift boat them, whether it's real or not real. That's, we have to be on the lookout for that too. Whoa. My computer says it's almost out of memory, which is never good. Let me just do this really quick. I've been running on hopes and prayers apparently instead of RAM and memory. So I'm just trying to close some things here so that I can not crash and burn. I don't want to crash and burn. All right. So what else is happening here? That should have helped some. All right. I don't know these people. Bear's mom says, do you see Abdul El Sayed winning the Michigan Senate race? Mike Rogers is the Republican candidate. There's dirty things, foul play at work here. I think Abdul has a really good chance of pulling this off. He's got the support. He's well liked. He's fairly well funded. He's a smart candidate. He's doing the right things. I don't, it's close. Right now it feels close. But I think he should win. But when I go into Mike Rogers, that there are pockets of red there. Abdul should win, but I honestly wouldn't be surprised if Mike Rogers won because the guys are saying this is a very important race. It's important for the Republicans to keep this. So they're going to pull all the stops out. And you know what that means? They may do a little hinky pinky with some stuff. So if you live there, if you live in Michigan, get the word out about Abdul, get people to go out to vote. We have to show up like 20, 30% more. We can't just win. We have to win plus 30 to 40% to counteract what they're doing. Kidney cancer. But it spreads, right? I mean, it starts in one place and then it spreads. So there's other involvement. I mean, I think it's gone to the nodes. They just said the word nodes. So I think this has spread and they can't stop it. I would also say the words they, I don't know why why they're saying this, but it's almost like they allowed this to happen. Like, what if they're shooting him up with saline? You know what I mean? With nothing. What if they're doing nothing for him and just trying to get rid of him? And he just, I don't know. Um, the guides just said that it is spreading. And somebody just said about triple negative that it's a kind that you cannot, it's doesn't respond. It could also be that it's gone into a triple negative situation where it's not responding. Let me ask him, if is it responding? No, it's not responding to treatment. They said the whole word, it's not responding to treatment. And there's other, like they said earlier, comorbidities. I'm feeling seeing his veins, like I don't know if that's blood flow or if that's water retention or if that's, I don't know, but I'm just seeing like yeah, water retention. I'm seeing edema. I don't know what that is. Is that swelling? Um, so yeah, he's dying in front of us. He's dying in front of us, which is its own kind of hell. If you look at him in the G7, several times he needed help. He needed help from the, remember when he couldn't lower his chair? Did y'all see that video? He like bats at the freaking world leader like this, and he's like, so the guy comes over and like adjusts his chair. It's like he's he's a walking bag of, you know what? Starmer. What are you getting on Starmer? Who haven't read on him in a minute? I was getting a lot on Starmer, Alexander. There was a time when they were talking about Starmer all the time a few months ago. Okay. The guides just said, or I just heard he's not good. He's not good. He's not well. Is he okay? He could be having some health issues that are not being spoken about. Could be something to do with his throat. He's not well. I'm feeling something in my ears, my throat. I mean, I don't think it's the flu. He's a young guy. He's a fit guy. Could be something, could be something. It's interesting because it's sort of like his throat chakra. It's like in this area. So anyway, other than that, how is Starmer doing? Somebody said it's a pity or he's a pity. I don't understand that. I don't understand that what that means. It's a pity or he's a pity. I don't know if you guys are Starmer fans, but this is what I'm getting. Um, he could actually need surgery or something. Do you have a specific question about Starmer? Your question, getting anything on Starmer? Let me ask him again. Is he going to be in power? I think he's going to step down. He's either going to step down or he's going to be removed. Or maybe he'll step down before he's removed, but I don't know when that's going to happen. There's energy around, meaning people are talking. People are talking about this. So they're looking for his replacement. They're saying it's a delicate situation because they don't want to lose their power. They don't want it, they don't want to lose that power. They want to keep the power within that coalition. There's something going on health-wise. I don't know if we'll learn about it, but it Hogarth read on Starmer? Okay, cool. Well, watch Hogarth. If you guys aren't watching Hogarth, he's British, he's wonderful. I was just on his show a few days ago. And he does great reads. Starmer. Okay, Starmer will be. Denise is saying Starmer will be defeated by newly elected member of parliament. Okay, well, there you go. They're trying to get rid of him. They're getting rid of him. But this thing about his throat, it could be energy, but it could be like he's speaking out and he shouldn't be, or they want to control his voice. He's being throttled. The energy is just like somebody's got him by the neck. The Bard on Starmer. Oh my God, God. The Bard is, if you guys are not watching him with the Bard, you just have to, that we're talking about Hogarth. You got to watch it. Oh, well, there you go. Yeah. Bridget says, you just read the news that there's going to be an election to see if Starmer can be overthrown. See, I told you they're talking about getting rid of him. I just see all these people, but they don't want to get rid of him for no reason. They need to put their person in. They want to make sure that they either have somebody they can work with or somebody that they can control. The Bard is Shakespeare. It's a Shakespeare book that he flips through, and then it's the best because it's, I don't remember what the Bard said when I was there on Wednesday. But I thought we need to use these words because there are words that social media doesn't look for, so they don't think they're bad words, but they're horrible words. So it'd be a way to keep our free speech, which is helpful right now because they're really cracking down on our free speech. Yeah, if you guys are here, really appreciate you being here. Hit the thumbs up. That'd be helpful for me if you can. And I'm Susan Lynn. I'm a predict politics here on YouTube, but I also have another channel where I am the union rep for humans, and management is the universe. So if you want to know why your life is doing what it's doing, or you want help understanding what is happening, check out my other channel, Susan Lynn Spiritual Wayshower. And that QR code goes to my website, susanlynnmedium.com, where you can join my community, where I spend 6 hours a month with you, again, helping you understand how to rock this life. Even right now, it's more important than ever, right? Because we're not going down with the ship, right? We are not going down with the ship. So we need to understand, how do we navigate? How do we find another job? How do we deal with the MAGAs in the family? How do we deal with our own grief, right? These are things that I help people with in my community, and it's safe. It's not here on Meta. It's not on YouTube. It's completely safe, completely separate. You know, we have this problem now that people are posting on Facebook, and Facebook is posting their post on Threads, and people are like, what is happening right now? So people wanted to keep one or the other from their family, right? Like, oh, I post politics here, so I don't post it over there where my family can find it. But now Meta is bringing all your posts together. So that's why my community is completely separate. It's not on any of these things. Whatever you post over there stays over there. You don't have to worry about it. It's private and it's safe. So you can learn more at susanlynnmedium.com. So yeah, he doesn't like Starmer. Okay, yeah, I would imagine he doesn't. We're talking about Hogarth again. Question, Sharon says, he was 45 minutes late for the G7. What really caused the tardiness? You know, they're telling me he was lost, or he couldn't find it, or there was disassociation. Like, I'm telling you guys, they give him something that gives him clarity. It's for a short period. I think it's like 1 or 2 hours. It's max. And he was lost. They just keep telling me he was lost. I don't know if he was literally lost or if they couldn't get him to go, you know what I mean? Or You all, I think I can't believe I'm saying this, but this is what I just saw. They showed me a scene, and I can't believe I'm saying this, but I have some compassion for him because I just saw this picture of him crapping himself, diarrhea everywhere, just nastiness, and he's disgusting. He's disgusting. And he knows he's disgusting. He plays a role where he thinks he's not, but he does know that, and he hates himself and he hates that. And he hates that he's losing his mind. He hates that he's losing his life. He's really having his karma play out every day in front of him. I mean, I'm not compassionate anymore. It just lasted for a second. I'm okay now. I got my senses back. I'm all right. Adderall, yeah, it's Adderall and a lot of. I think it's a cocktail of a lot of things that the guide said. Had he not allegedly been a person who used these things his whole life, he wouldn't be able to survive it. Like they say, you can give enough medicine to kill an elephant. This is him. Like, you can give him so much more because his body is used to it. His liver's not, his kidneys aren't, but they can just give him an enormous amount of this stuff. And apparently it's not working as well as it takes more and more and more to get the same effect. Well, I'm sure they also have somebody directing him, right? Leading him. But I think, earlier in the show, I talked about how somebody asked who was leaking the things from the White House, and I got Susie Wiles. These people don't want him to succeed. They want him to look bad so that they can continue doing their bad things. If everybody's focused on him, nobody's seeing what Jared's doing. Nobody's seeing what Ivanka's doing. Nobody's seeing what Rubio is doing, or even JD, right? So I think sometimes they set him up to look bad so that it's a distraction. And he doesn't have any idea that it's happening. You can apparently there are some settings I think that you can change to keep Meta from cross posting, but do you think people don't go into the settings? I mean, I'm a pretty techie person, and when you get into Meta, into the back end of Meta, it's very confusing to find, okay, is this going to be for Instagram, or is this going to be for Threads, or is this going to be for Facebook? It's very confusing, like super confusing. So yeah, I think you can change it, but I don't think people know how, and I don't think people even know that it's happening. I mean, I promise you they don't know it's happening until their family says, I saw that post you did. You believe JD is the leaker? Well, maybe he is. He could be. I don't see him as a very smart person. I don't see him as a very calculating, strategic person. Susie Wiles, strategic and smart, can run circles around all those people, and she has her own agenda. But I could be wrong, right? Totally. Code Brown, yeah, Code. I mean, if you've ever had a baby and had a blowout of a diaper, just imagine a full-grown man that's been eating McDonald's for the last 8 hours. Yeah, that's what I think too. Sylvan is Susie Wiles is trying to get Rubio in. She has her own, everybody has their own agenda. The deflection pool, that's true. Um, what is Jamie Raskin's political future? So again, the Democratic, you know, whatever you want to call them, they're sort of like the corporation, like in the royalty. They don't want they're correcting me. It's not that they don't want somebody like Jamie Raskin. They can't have it. They can't have somebody so smart and so focused on helping people like Senator Warner, right? They can't have that. So his future is fine, but he's older and he's also had his own fight with cancer. And I feel like if Jamie could, if some whippersnapper came in and said, "I want to run for your position, and this is what I believe, and this is how hard I'm willing to fight," I think Jamie would step down. I really do, because he's exhausted, you know? And but as long as there's nobody to take that position, he's going to keep it, and he's going to continue fighting for us. Him and Warren are going to continue fighting for us. And but I really feel like in 2027, maybe 28, he's going to say, "Okay, I feel like I feel like you're in good hands. I feel like there's enough new people here who understand what's at stake, who understand how hard we have to fight." So I think he's fine, but I think if he gets an opportunity to step down, he will. I feel like I could see him stepping down before Elizabeth Warren, but again, Jamie Raskin has fought cancer. I mean, this takes a heck of a lot out of you, right? Plus, just imagine dealing with the stupidity of these people and the hatred of these people. Imagine working against devils all day, every day. So, I mean, I just think that he would step aside. I don't see him running for president. He might throw his hat in the ring, but I don't think he's very serious about it, again, because I don't think his health is okay, but it's not bulletproof. I feel like he's still checking to see if he's clear. He's not in the clear yet. And at some point everybody deserves to retire. Um Okay, Ruby Elixir is saying, Susan, a lot of astrologers and mediums are saying there is going to be a new pandemic soon. What do your peeps say? Well, do you remember when the guide said, wash your hands? I don't know why, but y'all need to wash your hands. Remember? Well, now we have Ebola, screwworm. God only knows what is out there right now. Um, I don't, I don't see a pandemic. And this is what the guides have always said. Instead, it's a multi-strain. Um, there's just chicken pox and different things, all different things. There's just going to be more viruses that are out of control. Um, but I don't see us doing a shutdown, because people will not do it. They will not do it. Um, I can see, here's something that I can see. When the pandemic happened, I remember the guides saying to me, the fact that a good portion of your country won't wear a mask and how many hundreds of thousands died, this would be a really good way to attack us, right? If they unleashed some kind of virus, come on, they don't need to shoot anything. They don't need to bomb anything. we won't wear a mask. We'll just be like everybody else, just be dying, right? So I think there is energy around. Also, I want to ask you timeline. Like, I don't see that in 26. I don't see that in 28, but I could see that in the next 3 to 5 years. Like, I don't know if they're predicting this in like 2028 to 2032. I could see it during that time. I personally don't see it in 26 or 27. I could be wrong, but it doesn't feel like it has that kind of energy to me. But I do see a lot of other things happening that are going to require us to be more mindful of viruses in general. Anything new on Kushner's and their Albanian land grab? Well, I'm not really following the news, but I saw snippets that the locals are fighting back, and this is the same energy I've been talking about tonight. Is we're humans, the great unrest. If you're just joining me earlier, the guides talked about this thing called the great unrest, and I just feel like worldwide humans are upset that we're not getting basic respect, basic justice, basic health care, basic food. Um, there's too much strain on us and we're breaking. So you see it with the Albanians fighting back. Um, Really, all the Kushners want, when I look at this, is they just want this part of the island. There's like the end of the island, like one end of the island. They just want that. And they want to, and I think what they're going to do is put up a massive, some kind of impenetrable fence or wall, and they'll just do what they're going to do. But what they're going to do is drain the electric, the water, the resources. So I think they're just going to wall off a compound that takes up a good portion of the island. And that island has tunnels, and I've always said that that island will be used for transporting people, goods, illicit people and goods. So it's a hub. It's a hub. That's why they want it. It's a hub for their crime. But not too long, like maybe in 2027, maybe even by the end of this year, there's this energy of countries coming together, like the Five Eyes, like Scotland Yard, like MI6, whatever it is. You might actually see countries raiding these places because look, they stunned us. They literally stunned us. They stunned the world. Everybody didn't know what to do. Should we suck up to them? Should we make a deal with them? Remember the tariffs, like, oh my God, we have to protect our people. We have to make a deal with the devil. Okay, now we're on the other side of all of that. And he's given how many billions of dollars to Iran? That doesn't sound like he won. That doesn't sound like anybody won. So now the energy is shifting. And now I think you're going to see countries band together and go after the Kushners, go after Bibi, go after even us, right? Not war, not bombs, but make cut us out. Again, going to be hard on us. It's going to be hard. But this is part of the justice, right? It's, the guides just said, I mean, this is their metaphor. Do with it what you will. But it's like your parents are drug dealers and you're like, oh, I don't know why mommy and daddy just got hauled off to prison. Now we don't have any food and no, who's going to pay our bills? Well, the United States is our mommy and daddy, and they're about to be hauled off to prison. And we're like, now what do we do? Like, do we just live in the house and pretend like, we can pay the bills? So that's kind of the metaphor that they're using for this. Will Israel blow the the question is, Leanne says, will Israel blow up the peace deal with Iran? 45 is going to blow it up. I swear to God, he thinks he sold Maine to Canada. He doesn't know what he signed. He probably thinks he bought Greenland or something, I think he is also going to blow it up. Listen, these two men follow the Putin peace deal timeline, which is we're going to we're going to do a ceasefire. We're going to have peace talks. Meanwhile, they're pushing buttons to bomb them. Their word is nothing. You cannot ever, ever trust them. So yes, I think they are going to blow it up, but it doesn't matter because we've already capitulated. The power has shifted. We are now, I don't want to, we are now their BITCH. The power shifted. So yeah, they can blow up Iran, but Iran's going to blow them up. I don't, it's just like the power shifting with Ukraine. If you don't know, like they're bombing the hell out of Moscow right now. And that's a power shift. They haven't been able to do that for a lot of reasons I talked about earlier. That's a power shift where the underdog is now getting the upper hand. This is what I'm talking about all the way around. The power is shifting. So, yeah, they blow up this deal. Then what happens? The Strait of Hormuz is closed. Nobody gets any oil. Again, the countries are going to stand up to Israel. The countries are coming together saying, you're screwing up our lives. Now we're coming for you. We're going to throw you out, right? So I think you're just going to see some big changes in the power players. Raskin could be on SCOTUS of the Supreme Court, but again, I think he kind of deserves retirement. Honestly, he's done so much. Yeah, and he's lost his son. I mean, I think the guy just deserves retirement. Yeah, that's really a good point, Heather. You've always felt that Jamie Raskin is John Adams reincarnated. Probably because you're right. He actually looks like him a little bit, doesn't he? A little bit. I can see that. Jamie for Cheese John. Yeah, he just looks exhausted to me. I just feel like he's done so much for us, and now why do we keep asking? We have to, for our own sake, we've got to do a better job of grooming young people and giving them support and getting them into the system so that they can take over. We have to do this. Let's see what else. We're almost coming up on our two. I want Kamala to run again too. But I don't want her to be disrespected. And I think she's smart enough to not put herself in that position. So I think she's smart. Just she's gonna do what she needs to do. Where is Stephen Miller? Somebody said he's in the bottom of the murky deflection pool. He's still active. He's still active. I think he's been sort of blocked from some of the main, it's not surprising, but actually, I mean, maybe it is. I don't know. Anyway, I don't think him and Jared Kushner are close. I don't think they like each other. I think they both want power. They don't like each other. I think he's been blocked from the inner circle. Again, I read on Bannon earlier. So if you guys are just joining me, I hope you'll watch from the beginning because we talked about so many good topics. But Bannon is another one who's in the outside, but he's building his own army, so to speak. He's not going to really be able to do that very well, but he's working with Flynn. And Miller is another one. He's building his own thing. So you could see this fighting amongst these power players. They're like the guides are saying in mythology when the gods would fight each other, right? I'm not saying they're gods. What I'm saying is that it'll feel like that because we're down here just trying to pay our bills. We're down here trying to survive, and these rich robber barons are over there fighting each other, and it just seems so ridiculous. Let's see what else you guys are talking about. Mitch McConnell, tell me about, speaking of the devil, Cindy Lee, for real. I'm saying they're not in hell anymore. They're running around Congress and the White House. Again, the guides are saying if you want to know what modern medical miracles look like, this is it. Mitch McConnell is an example. Why we're dying. We can't afford basic care. And these people are being kept alive. He's kind of pickled, they're saying, he's not really, you know what I mean? I think I said this about 45 once that he ate so many preservatives in the fast food that he pickled himself, and that's why he's still alive. The preservatives are basically all that's in his body. They're showing me, doesn't he have a black son-in-law? I'm pretty sure he does. That is a Republican that he's trying to get to run for. This guy's in Congress. I'm pretty sure he has a black son-in-law. Is that not correct, you guys? Anyway, I'm seeing he's trying to get a black guy. It looks like a younger man. He's trying to get this, I mean, younger. He could be 30, he could be 40. I don't know. McConnell is in the hospital. Well, that's great. Maybe he'll, anyway, he's trying to get somebody to take over for him. He doesn't want to leave without having that set up. Um, and I will also say that I think Bashir, Black's sister-in-law, was the former lieutenant governor of Kentucky. There's a black guy that he's trying to get in. There's a black guy he's trying to get in. I don't know who this is. But there's a black guy. So Bashir defeated him for governor. Daniel Cameron. That's it. That's the guy. So he's trying. That's the name. He's trying to get this guy in somewhere. That's his plan. But here's the other thing. I'm not saying I'm a fan or I'm not a fan, but watch Bashir, who's the governor of Kentucky. That guy's going to come out of nowhere. It's seemingly nowhere. Nobody's talking about him. Everybody's talking about Kamala Harris and Mandani and AOC, and nobody's talking about Bashir. He's going to come out of nowhere and have a really good chance at securing the presidency because he's from the South. He's a white dude. He's a Democrat. He seems like a really nice guy. I haven't seen any skeletons flying out of his closet. I just think that he could be somebody that we should all watch out for. But we'll see. Yeah, it's Daniel Cameron is the guy I was talking about. So for whatever reason, McConnell wants that guy. It feels like that's the guy he wants to try to get in. Yeah, he's also a staunch Christian, right? Like, so I'm not a big fan. I mean, I think he's done okay for Kentucky. I'm originally from Louisville. I'm originally from Kentucky. I left there at 18, but we could do worse. We could do worse. We might have to pick between him and Newsom. It might be that kind of situation where there's not a perfect person here, but we're just trying to get to the finish line. Mitch is in the hospital. I don't know if he's going to cross. They won't tell me if he's going to cross. Mitch himself told me he wanted to die on the floor, the Senate floor. He didn't want to ever stop working. He never wanted to step down. He wanted to die on the floor. So knowing him, they'll wheel him back on the floor where he will literally die. Happy Juneteenth, everybody. Absolutely. Yeah, Daniel Cameron is a piece of work. But that makes sense. That's why Mitch likes him. He's probably a Mitch acolyte. I think I did read on this earlier, SJ. Can you read on the energy of Obama's presidential building pre-opening yesterday? June 18th as a day official open to the public. I did read on it yet earlier, but I will just tell you guys that somehow it shifted the entire energy. And I don't mean the energy of the Obamas or the energy of Chicago. I mean the energy of the whole planet, not even the United States. Something shifted because I just talked about how these other countries are going to be more defiant. Like Iran is being defiant, but I see other countries being defiant about what Kushner's are doing in Albania. I think they're going to be more defiant about Bibi, screwing up the thing and having the Strait of Hormuz closed again. So I think that what Obama did yesterday was defiance. It was defiance. It breathed life back into us all because Obama is a worldwide icon. I think he showed us all we're not dead. We're not beaten. We're not done. We're not done. Look at my library. Look at all these amazing people who showed up to celebrate me. Look who showed up to celebrate 45. A MMA fighter that was vomiting on himself. I mean, come on. Everybody backed out. But yet, here Obama had all these amazing people there to support him. So, to me, that along with Juneteenth, it's another big indicator that the energy has shifted. But I really feel like the person that gets under 45 skin most is Obama. And for Obama to have this big party, this big celebration, it's a big middle finger to 45. It's a big middle finger to all of them, to Rubio, to Hexa, to the Department of War. It's a big middle finger to Miller and Bannon, wherever they're hiding. It's a middle finger. You think you're going to take over the United States of America? You think you're going to take over the world? You're nothing. I'm showing you you're nothing by standing up to you. It was huge. It was huge what he did. It was huge. It was felt all around the world in this energetic way. And Michelle Obama speaking, absolutely, absolutely. It was just a, I don't know, somehow it shifted the energy. It really did. We read on this earlier in Infinite's Realm. If you guys watched from the beginning, I feel like this is Susie Wiles. I went into why I thought it was Susie Wiles leaking the Situation Room meetings. Look, these people, thieves have no honor. Okay, so they're all fighting each other. They all know 45 is about to go down, and they're going to make sure that they get their people in the right place, right? So, would you sit there and just hope for somebody to fall down, or would you help them fall down so that you can orchestrate exactly when it happened and you can blame somebody? That's Susie Wiles. See, I don't think JD has that kind of strategy. He's not that smart. He's not that smart. So, I mean, would JD leak things? Yeah, random, indiscriminate, it would look like child's play compared to what Wiles will do. Wiles will make it look like JD did it, and make it look like JD did it and blame Melania. That's Susie Wiles. JD will do it, and it'll just be a leak. Yeah. So I don't know. That's what I get. Maybe I don't know. Yeah, Knives Out. It's total Knives Out in there. Absolutely. Bashir, Ossoff, Newsom, and Buttigieg. I want you guys to add somebody to your list. I see everybody talking about Ossoff. I like Ossoff. I love Ossoff. Why isn't anybody talking about Warnock? Why isn't anybody talking about Warnock, our black senator, who's, with Ossoff? We need to start talking about Warnock, or maybe not, because if you draw attention to him, they'll start attacking him. But yeah, Bashir, Ossoff, Newsom, Buttigieg. Why not throw in Warnock? He's a young guy. Why not? Right? He's also like Bashir. He's got, a church, a religious, a church sort of energy to him as well. But I've always liked Warnock. Always. Warnock is ill. What? I haven't looked at his energy. Is he ill? Does he have? You'll have to tell me. I don't want to say what I think he has. Interesting. I don't feel like he's if he's ill, which I don't know. I don't want to say anything because I don't like tipping off people either. Your husband works for Warnock. I don't think he's ill. Okay, great. Thank you, SLPLC. He doesn't feel ill to me. And if he is ill, I do not see this being career ending or health ending. I think Warnock is amazing. And I do think he's trying to be a little under the radar because it's, once look what they did to Kamala, look what they did to Hillary, look what they did to Obama, look what they did to Michelle, look what they did to Jimmy Carter's daughter. I mean, look what they did to Hillary's daughter. Well, both of their daughters. So I think Warnock is like, he's a strategist. He's like, yeah, I'll get out there, but right now I'm gonna be in the background doing my thing, right? Vindman, yeah, Vindman has voted some weird, I don't know. I don't know about these people. But we just we'll just do the best we can with them and hold them accountable. That's it, Mary. I'll end it on this. I think Mary put my what I was trying to say in a succinct manner. And she said, the Obamas gave us a rare opportunity to feel pride as Americans. It's true. And he gave us that energy of, you're not going to beat us. We're not going to hide from you. We're not going to do that. Right. We're not. So I think that, Maxwell Frost is great. Look, when you start looking at it, we've got some really, really good people here. And I just want to start using their names because, we end up using the same names all the time because that's just what we can remember. So let's just try to, reach out and include as many of these people as possible. Um, yeah. So you guys, we've been going on for 2 hours. I'm going to call it a day. Thank you so much for watching. If you didn't join in the beginning, you might want to, because I was ripping through a lot of questions in the beginning. We covered a lot of ground. Yeah, Kamala and Jasmine and Shapiro, so many people. So you guys take really, really good care of yourselves, okay? Because that's the thing. Do something nice for yourself. It's really important that we take care of ourselves. What would Obama tell you to do, right? What would Obama say to you? And this is a community organizer, right? What would Michelle say to you? What would Jimmy Carter say to you right now when you're feeling down and out and like we're getting beat and it's all over? I don't think Jimmy Carter ever gave up. I don't think so. And they beat the hell out of that man, right? So just call on these icons, call on people that never gave up. Yeah, Jesus, call on all these people that never gave up and know that they're with us. And thank you to all my moderators. Really appreciate it. Take really good care, everybody. We'll see you soon.